Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm talking about Don Bacon and the Nebraska 2nd Congressional District and a very important ratings change from the Cook Political Report, a top nonpartisan political elections analysis website. And the article is behind a paywall, so I can't read all of it, but the first two paragraphs here are very important, and the rest of which I'll be explaining in this video. Aaron Covey, who wrote this piece, says that Nebraska's 2nd District was always going to host a crucial battle in the fight for control of the House. Kamala Harris won this district by 4.6%, making it, per the 2024 presidential results, the bluest district held by a House Republican. But GOP Representative Don Bacon, a retired Air Force general with a strong independent streak, had become one of his party's most formidable incumbents since he flipped this Omaha-based district in 2016, and Democrats universally regarded him as a tough opponent. Now that Bacon has decided to not run for re-election, we're moving this district from toss-up to lean Democrat. While this race remains highly competitive, Democrats should have an advantage in 2026, and it's become the #1 seat on the party's target list. So that's where things stand on that front. The Cook Political Report has moved this race from toss-up to lean Democrat. And you may be wondering why, even though the article kind of gave a very good explanation of why, but the Cook Political Report's Cook PVI map shows that this district is Democrat +3, which based on the margins of 1 to 5% being lean Democrat, this district you could say is a lean Democratic district. And now on the toss-up side of things, you can see here that this district, Nebraska's 2nd, if I refresh the page here, you'll see is now on the lean Democratic side, making it the only Republican race that is currently favored to go to the Democrats. And when you look at this district, we'll look at 2024 here, we saw that Don Bacon won it by 1.9% against the Democrat Tony Vargas in a very close race. This district ended up voting for Bacon with 160,198 votes. Vargas got 154,369. So only roughly 6,000 votes separating Bacon and Vargas in this very close district. Back in 2022, Bacon was able to beat Vargas by 2.7% in this midterm election, which again was supposed to be a Republican-friendly midterm year. Bacon here got 112,663 votes. Vargas got 106,807. So again, roughly about 6,000 votes separating Vargas and Bacon in this district. And I'll be going more into the counties and such in this district in just a moment. But again, let's look at the election history here. This district, Nebraska 2, back in 2020, it seemed to be more of a red district here. Bacon won by 4.6%. 2018, Bacon won it by 2%. 2016, it went to Bacon by 1.2%. So even though you could argue maybe it was a little bit more red, it was still a very competitive district all the way back to 2016. And the Democrats, arguably, it was either even or the Democrats had still a very good chance of winning this. Back in 2014 was the last time a Democrat won it when Ashford won by 3.3%. Though a third-party vote getting 5.27% likely played a very big role here. So this district has been very close for a while. And I'm going to use on map.jacksonjude.com, a very great website where you can use a comparison feature here. We're going to look at how this district in Nebraska has trended from 2016 to 2024. And from this time, it actually shifted 0.65% towards Don Bacon. When you look at it from 2016 to 2022, it shifted 1.5% towards Bacon. 2020 from 2016, 3.4. From 2018, 0.79. Now, let's go to when this district was redrawn in 2022, which it wasn't redrawn much, but it was redrawn a little bit. From 22 to 24, it shifted 0.82% towards Vargas. So even though this district overall is shifted towards Bacon in the election results from 2016 to 2024, from 22 to 2024, it actually shifted about 0.8% towards the Democrats. That's at the House level. At the presidential level, Nebraska is one of 2 states, as well as Maine, which does allocate its electoral votes by congressional or by House vote as well. So it actually works out that we can analyze the 2nd district for how it's voted in recent presidential elections as well. Kamala Harris won this district by 4.7% in 2024. That is a lean Democratic margin, though it's closer to being likely Democratic than to being tilt in this scenario. So Harris clearly won here by a strong margin. As we can see, Douglas County, this is where the city of Omaha is, Kamala Harris won it by 10.1%. We can look back at 2020 now, where Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump in this district by 6.6%. In 2016, Donald Trump was the last time a Republican won this district by 2.2%, but it's worth noting Trump also got 47% of the vote. Clinton only got 44.9% with a lot of third-party vote. In 2020, Trump got 45.66%. 2024, Trump got 47%. This is the best Trump has done in this district, and it's still voted lean Democratic for Kamala Harris. Using that same comparison feature here, from 2020 to 2024, this district did shift 2 points towards Donald Trump. But it should be worth noting that in 2024, pretty much everywhere shifted towards Donald Trump except for Nebraska's 1st congressional district. But from 2024 to 2026, we're likely not going to see a map similar to 2024, as historically midterm elections are more favorable for the party not in charge of the White House. 2024 was a presidential election after 4 years of Joe Biden as president. The polls showed Joe Biden very much unpopular in those early polls and showed the Republicans should have a very good election, and that ended up happening. 2026, it should be the opposite. Democrats should be favored to have a very good night. Now, as always, that's not a guarantee. People still have to get out and vote, and things could always be different, but 2026 should be better for the Democrats. 2016 to 2024, this district actually shifted by 6.9% towards Kamala Harris from Hillary Clinton. Again, third-party vote likely played a big factor, but that is very significant. From 2012 to 2024, this district from Mitt Romney to Donald Trump shifted 11.8% towards the Democrats. So the district is trending in the Democratic direction at the presidential level. Now for 2026, all eyes are on this district now that Don Bacon has retired. There are some reports that Brett Lidstrom, the former state senator, is someone that's a close ally of Don Bacon, and Don Bacon may view him as someone that can run and win this district. But even still, it's going to be tough to win this district given its Democratic lean. It's sort of the Republicans can win here, but we're going to have to see it happen before we can believe that it can actually stay Republican. On the Democratic side, 4 Democrats are running. The nominee from 2022 and 2024, Tony Vargas, is not running. He has endorsed Denise Powell, but Evangelos Ariakis, John Kavanaugh, State Senator, Mark Johnson, and Denise Powell are all running, as well as Crystal Rhodes, Douglas County District Clerk, has expressed interest in running in this race. Any one of these Democrats being the Democratic nominee gives the Democrats a strong chance of winning this race, given how this district is drawn and made up and the areas in it. It's also worth noting that independent Dan Osborne, who ran for Senate in a very close election in 2024, got it under 10 points in the red state of Nebraska. Is very tough to do. He may run for this race as well. He's expressed interest. However, now that Bacon is not running, it's possible the Democrats who may have made a deal not to run a Democrat candidate against Osborne so they could have a Bacon versus Osborne election, now that Bacon's not running, that likely is going to be off the table for the Democrats, and they want to have a Democrat representative. But Cook Politico and Sabo Crystal Ball being lean Democratic flips, this is going to be very important. Again, I want to show you these numbers, and remember here. The presidential race, let me get to the compare part here. This district, Douglas County, voted for 10 points for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump in 2024. We're going to look at the 2024 election results for Don Bacon versus Tony Vargas, where Don Bacon won. It has 3 counties, Douglas, Saunders, and Sarpy. Trump likely did just as well, if not better, than Don Bacon in Sarpy and Saunders, or relatively marginally similar. Okay, so we have Saunders, which went 72-26 for Trump and Harris, and Sarpy, which went 54-43. And again, compare that to 2024, Sarpy was 66-34. So Bacon actually did much better than Trump in Sarpy County. So I do need to correct myself on that one. 76-24 in Saunders is about the same. The big difference here and why Trump lost his area, but Bacon won, was Douglas County. This is where the city of Omaha is, one of the largest cities in Nebraska. And Don Bacon lost his county to Tony Vargas, but by a much smaller margin. Vargas got about a 10,000 overall vote win margin out of Douglas County, about 10,300 votes. margin of victory came out of Douglas County, 52 to 48% on the actual margins of victory here. So about a 4-point margin. Again, Kamala Harris won this area over Donald Trump by 10.1%. Now, we can look at 2022. We really can't look at it this way due to how it looks. But again, we'll just compare these numbers to 2024. 2022, where Bacon defeated Vargas by 51.3, Vargas 48.7. Douglas County went 51-49 for Vargas versus Bacon. And again, 2% margin here, a smaller margin than it was in 2024, but very, very close. Bacon, despite losing Douglas County twice in 2022 and 2024, was able to keep this district competitive, keep it under 5%, and make it very close while running up the margins in Saunders County and Sarpy County enough to outgain the margins that the Democrat is going to get in Douglas. President Trump was not able to do that in 2024. With Sarpy and Saunders combined, his huge defeat in Douglas of 10 points was enough for Harris to win. Back in 2020, we saw this on an even larger scale, where Saunders won for Trump by 45.4. So Trump did a little bit worse here than he did in 2024. Sarpy went 11.3%. So Trump did relatively similar in Sarpy County. But again, Douglas was even more Democratic at 11.3% in 2020 compared to 10.1% for Harris in 2024. So Douglas County is the key here. If the Republican in 2026 is running similar to Don Bacon's numbers, they have in Douglas, they have a chance to win. But if they're running similar to President Trump's numbers in Douglas, the Republican is going to lose. And that's why the percentage margins out of Douglas County very early on election night in 2026 are going to be the key indicator here at how the Republican candidate is doing. Is the Republican candidate getting closer to Trump's numbers, or are they getting closer to Don Bacon's numbers? Last one to look at here, 2016, Donald Trump won this time around. Sarpy was 21.2% against Clinton, so a lot of third-party vote, but much more Republican for Trump. That was big. And Saunders, 46.3%, again, more third-party vote, but the margin of victory was relatively similar, 46.3%, more Republican than it was in 2020. But Douglas County, with the third-party vote factor in here, Clinton only got a 2.4% margin of victory in Douglas. Trump got 44.95%. This was definitely a very unique election, as we're likely not going to see a third-party vote number this high again, but this is the type of margin that a Don Bacon would get in this area. We're likely not going to see this in 2026. So when we talk about this House race in 2026, we can zoom in here on Nebraska's 2nd District. It all depends on how Douglas County, that's the red one, sorry, on how Douglas County is going to go in 2026 now that Don Bacon will not be the Republican incumbent. And if the Democrats can do well in Douglas County, then better than they did in 2022 and 2024, they really should not have much of an issue winning this district. The question will be, if the Republican they put up, Brett Lindstrom, or another Republican, are they up to the task at trying to match Bacon's numbers? If they can, they have a chance. But right now, I think Democrats are more likely to do better, similar to Kamala Harris's numbers in this district in 2026, than Don Bacon's numbers for the Republicans. And this gives the Democrats one of 3 flips they need to take back the House in 2026. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you did, leave a comment below. Tell me your thoughts on this video. And again, please remember to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.